The NFL trade deadline is just days away, and rumors are exploding around the league, especially for the Miami Dolphins. After parting ways with general manager Chris Grier on Friday and bringing in Champ Kelly to take over, the buzz has been nonstop. Reports from insiders like Adam Schefter, ESPN, and Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated have been flooding in with updates, and fans everywhere are wondering what's next for Miami. Before we dive any deeper into the breaking stories, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with your friends. And of course, hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. Now, when you look at this Dolphins roster, the question isn't who they'll trade for, it's who they'll trade away. This team looks like a seller at the deadline, and several names are being floated around as possible trade candidates. One of the biggest surprises on that list? Jaylen Waddle. In my opinion, Waddle shouldn't even be in the conversation, but multiple teams have reportedly called Miami asking about the star wide receiver's availability. Still, the reality is hard to ignore. The Dolphins are sitting at 2-7. Their playoff hopes are fading fast, and no amount of optimism from Mike McDaniel or Stephen Ross can change that. To reach the postseason, they'd have to win out 8 straight victories, which simply isn't realistic. It's time for Miami to face the truth, focus on the future, and build towards something stronger. That doesn't mean the players stop fighting on the field. It means the organization has to make smart moves, prioritize the draft, and start laying the foundation for what comes next. According to Jeremy Fowler of ESPN, the Dolphins are squarely in the spotlight as potential sellers at the deadline. He noted that Miami seems to be shifting toward a build for the future mindset, and the league has taken notice. Teams are showing serious interest in several key players, from wide receiver Jaylen Waddle to pass rushers Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb. If any move happens before the deadline, trading a pass rusher feels like the most realistic outcome. Both Fowler and Adam Schefter have reported multiple times that one of the two, Phillips or Chubb, could be on the move before Tuesday's 4 p.m. Eastern deadline. At this point, it would be genuinely shocking if both players remain on the roster. Every indication suggests that Miami is preparing to make at least one significant defensive move. And honestly, it makes sense. Phillips is currently playing on his 5th-year option and will become an unrestricted free agent in the spring, while Chubb's contract could make him a likely trade or cut candidate this offseason as the team looks to clear cap space. When you look at the tape, Jalen Phillips has simply been better. He recorded his 3rd sack of the season last Thursday against the Ravens, and his impact goes beyond the stat sheet. He's been more explosive off the edge and more consistent against the run. His pass rush win rate is nearly 10% higher than Chubb's, giving him noticeably greater trade value. What that value turns into, though, is still up for debate. Some analysts believe Miami could get a 4th-round pick, possibly conditional. Others think that if the market heats up, the Dolphins might even pull in a 3rd-rounder. Either way, it's clear that Miami's front office is thinking ahead, and this trade deadline could mark a major step in reshaping the team's future. The buzz around Jalen Phillips is heating up fast. Multiple teams are reportedly bidding for his services as the deadline approaches. According to Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated, Phillips has become one of the most talked-about names on the trade market. At just 26 years old, Phillips offers both proven production and long-term upside, making him one of the most valuable defensive players potentially available. Breer specifically mentioned the Philadelphia Eagles as a team to keep a close eye on, noting that Miami could be looking for at least a 3rd-round pick in return. That report surfaced right before former GM Chris Grier was fired, so it's possible that new GM Champ Kelly could approach negotiations differently. Still, the asking price likely remains in that same range, a strong day 2 draft pick for a rising pass rusher entering his prime. If Miami decides to hold firm and demand a 3rd-rounder, it wouldn't be surprising. The Dolphins have every reason to maximize value, especially if they believe they can't keep Phillips long-term. Letting him walk in the offseason without compensation would be a mistake, so moving him now might be the smarter long-term play. As for potential landing spots, several NFC teams make perfect sense. The Lions could use another edge rusher to complement Aiden Hutchinson. The Eagles always seem to reload on defense and could see Phillips as a future cornerstone. The Cowboys need help opposite Micah Parsons, and both the Buccaneers and 49ers could use fresh energy off the edge. Jalen Phillips would instantly elevate any of those defenses, His mix of speed, strength, and relentlessness is exactly what contenders crave at this point in the season. The Buccaneers could go all in, but let's be honest, the real wild card here is Miami. No one truly knows what the Dolphins are planning as the trade deadline approaches. If Chris Grier were still running the show, we might have expected something small, a mid-round trade, and nothing more. But with Champ Kelly now in charge, everything feels unpredictable. This front office could finally make the tough, smart moves that reshape the team's future. That could mean dealing players like Jalen Phillips, Matthew Judon, Minkah Fitzpatrick, or Rasul Douglas, names that would have felt untouchable just weeks ago. And the biggest shocker of all, there's a chance Jaylen Waddle could be in the conversation. Now, no one in Miami wants to see Waddle go. He's electric, a playmaker who embodies the heart of the Dolphins' offense. But with new leadership comes a new mindset. If a team were to call offering a first-round pick, Champ Kelly might at least listen. That's the reality of the NFL. Every player, no matter how beloved, has a price when a team decides to rebuild. And as Miami's new front office starts to shape its identity, we're witnessing a shift, one that could define the franchise for years to come. Reports continue to swirl around Jaylen Waddle, and the noise is getting louder by the day. According to Connor Hughes of SNY, the New York Giants have been the team most consistently linked to Waddle, with Atlanta and Pittsburgh also showing interest. Still, New York seems to be the franchise most serious about making a move. Hughes reported that as long as Chris Grier was running the Dolphins, trading Waddle was never an option. But with Champ Kelly now taking over, that certainty no longer exists. Albert Breer echoed similar thoughts in his recent column, noting that teams inquiring about Waddle had previously been told a flat-out no. However, all of those reports came before Miami's front office change. That's what makes this situation so fascinating. No one truly knows where Kelly stands on player value. If he shares Grier's long-term vision, Waddle might remain untouchable. But if Kelly views this as a chance to reset the roster and gain high-end draft capital, everything could be on the table. And considering that Kelly only joined the Dolphins organization this past March, there's no deep-rooted loyalty here. That unpredictability could make this one of the most intriguing trade deadlines Miami fans have seen in years. Champ Kelly's background adds another layer of mystery to this entire situation. He's been around the NFL since 2007, working with multiple organizations, and no one truly knows how he views player value or roster building. His philosophy could be completely different from what Miami fans have seen under Chris Grier. Still, there's one hope, that Kelly understands what Jaylen Waddle means to this franchise. Trading Waddle would be a colossal mistake. At just 26 years old, with 3 years remaining on a reasonable contract, he's been nothing short of outstanding. Ever since Tyreek Hill went down, Waddle has stepped up as the clear offensive leader. Outside of that wild, weather-heavy game in Cleveland, he's been consistent, explosive, and dependable. Everything you want in a WR1. Waddle isn't just a short-term star. He's the kind of player who can bridge generations, from Tua Tagovailoa to whoever the next quarterback of the Dolphins might be. Miami needs him to be part of the long-term foundation, not a trade chip. And while we're talking about potential moves, one recent ESPN report raised some eyebrows. Analyst Benjamin Solak suggested that the Dolphins could target Trey Lance. Yes, the Chargers' young quarterback, as a mid-season gamble while preparing for what he called an inevitable split with Tua. Let's be real, that idea doesn't make much sense. Mike McDaniel's past with Lance in San Francisco might connect a few dots, but trading for a developmental quarterback mid-season doesn't align with what this team needs right now. Miami's focus should be on building stability, not adding more uncertainty. Waddle represents hope. He's the heartbeat of Miami's offense, and moving on from him would mean losing far more than just talent. It would mean losing identity. That idea from ESPN still doesn't make much sense. Trading for Trey Lance simply doesn't fit where the Dolphins are right now. Miami already has depth at quarterback. Adding another developmental player would do nothing to solve their bigger issues. If the Dolphins are going to make a move, it shouldn't be for another quarterback. It should be a smart, calculated play, something that actually helps build for the future. A move for someone like Tariq Woolen, the 6 feet 4 inches cornerback with elite speed and Pro Bowl potential, would make far more sense. He's young, talented, and could grow with Miami's defense for years to come. Earlier this year, Greg Newsome too might have been an option, but with him now in Jacksonville, that door's closed. The path forward is clear. Sell smart, plan for tomorrow, and stack draft capital. If the Dolphins move two of their key veterans, say Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, Matthew Judon, or Minkah Fitzpatrick, they could bring in valuable picks and set themselves up for the 2026 NFL Draft. That's how you rebuild the right way. This is the moment where Miami has to stay disciplined, stay patient, and make decisions that shape the next era of Dolphins football. And before we wrap up, if you love deep dive NFL content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel, drop a like, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Big things are coming, and we'll be breaking it all down right here.